Hey everybody, I'm Zach Witzel. Everybody's probably going a little bit stir crazy with this whole virus scare. So what I want to do is I want to go over a few basic exercises for you guys to do. And I'm going to try to provide a progression and a regression for each of these exercises. Progression making it a little harder and a regression making it a little easier. So let's go ahead and start off with the calves. Gonna hop on up. Good way to do calves is just plain old calf raises. Now all you're going to do, get up on the toes and come back down, but keep it slow and controlled. Don't let yourself just bounce, because that's not doing a whole lot. Your best bet right now, keep it slow and controlled, and don't just be jumping. A good way to regress this to make it a little easier is going to be take a chair, something solid, something sturdy, and you're just going to lean on it just a little bit and continue doing calf raises. A way to make this harder is to go to a staircase, something like that. Hold on to the railing, get the back half of your foot off of the stair, and calf raises. Number 2, we're going to look at squats. Just basic squats. We're not going to do anything too fancy. So you want your feet to be between your hips and your shoulder width apart. And you also want to make sure your feet aren't pointing out like this. You want your toes to be pointing almost straight forward, or maybe just about 10 degrees out. So very, very small turn. Then I also want you to picture, if you can, a line going out from your toes, and I want your knees to track with that line exactly. So just demonstrating, I always like to do prayer hands while you're squatting. Squat down, come back up. Back up. Main thing here is you want to make sure you don't go too deep. So I'll show you from the side. Toes pointing out about 10 degrees, give or take. Prayer hands, shoulders going to be back, and I'm going to keep my chest up. Squat down about like that. Main thing is you want to keep that weight on the back part of your heel. You don't want to put it forward on your toes, because that's going to wreak a lot of havoc on your knees. So keep that weight back. Stand up with it. So that's a regular old squat. A good way you can do to, or a good thing you can do to make this a little bit easier, take that chair again, and all you're going to do is just stand, squat, and you can go ahead and sit down if you want. And then keep it controlled, stand back up. Just like that. Just go down, tap the seat with your butt, and stand back up with it. So from the side, prayer hands again, and again, I want you to notice I'm keeping my chest up. I'm not letting my chest bend down like this. Keep my chest up. Stand up, still keeping that weight on my heels. So that's a good way to regress the exercise. Now a good way to progress the exercise, you could do a lot of different things. One thing you could do is whenever you squat, stand back up. You don't stand all the way back up here. Stand up to about here, keeping your knees slightly bent. That way you never come back up to a full standing position. That's going to keep that constant tension right there on those muscles. Now say you want to do something a little different and you want to actually get some more explosive force. You can actually do a jumping squat. So this one's a little bit more advanced, so just make sure you're ready for it. So all you're going to do, get your feet back in position, prayer hands, you jump through. Main thing here is make sure you let your knees and your legs act like shocks. You want them to absorb that impact. You don't just want to come back down. Wow, that actually hurt a little bit. So yeah, don't do that. Don't lock out your knees whenever you do this. Let your knees bend to absorb that impact, that force. All right, that's squats right there. That's a good way to keep those legs in shape. Next up, we're going to work on chest, a little bit of shoulders, with everybody's favorite push-ups. So, good way to get in position for push-ups is you lay on the ground, get your hands about even with your shoulders, and just get them out just a little ways, not much. Now you're going to do here, you can do it on your toes, which I'm going to do first. Then I'm going to show the regressed or modified version. And you just want to tighten up your core, squeeze your glutes, and just do that. That was a lot of grinding in my joints. That wasn't fun. So, nothing too difficult. I'll show you guys from the side real quick. So the main thing with push-ups is to make sure you don't let your butt sag down. And you're also not doing that, because that will actually work more your shoulders than anything. So, here again, get my feet planted, tighten up my glutes, tighten up my core. Just like that. Now, good way to regress this is a modified push-up, where your knees are going to be on the ground. So, you get into position the exact same way, get your hands placed, but the main thing here is you're not going to plant your toes, and I'll show you from the side here in a second. Keep your knees on the ground. You still want to tighten up your core and tighten up your glutes. So, this guy's going to be a lot easier. And the main thing here is just make sure you still keep everything controlled, keep everything tight. Don't just go in there and start going crazy. Keep it slow and controlled, especially on that downward portion, because this is where you're going to get a lot of that fun effect from. So, showing you from the side now. And I'm still keeping my body straight. I'm not letting my butt peek up too much, and I'm not letting my butt sag down. And yeah, so that's push-ups. Now a good way to progress this, you can play with kind of how far apart your hands are. As you get in closer and closer, we can get more into a military push-up, which is going to actually be, if you're in a push-up position, you want your hands straight underneath your shoulders. And the main thing here is you want your elbows to not flare out to the sides. You actually want them to go straight back. So full military push-up is going to look like that. Now, whenever you do that, whenever you get those elbows going straight backwards, you're going to end up working a little bit more your tricep and a little less your chest. You're still going to be working your chest, but it's going to be putting a little bit more emphasis on your triceps. And that's a good way to progress it. Then you can always do the fun little plyometric push-up if you want. And that is just going to be, well, a lot of people have probably done them in like high school or stuff like that, but clapping push-ups. I'll see if I can get one out. All right, so. Yeah, that'll definitely get your chest a little bit sore. So, those are a couple good ways to work your triceps, your chest, and your shoulders. Hopefully in future videos, I'll show you guys some exercises that are more specific to each body part, so something more specific to the shoulders and to the triceps. Ooh, now a fun one. So, one of the really hard body parts to work with just body weight is definitely the back. So, we're going to try one and we'll see how it does. So, almost everybody here has probably heard of Superman, right? You know, it's a bird, it's a plane, yay! So, we're going to do some Supermans. So, regular old Superman is just where you lift your hands up in the air while laying flat on your belly, but then you're also, you can't really see from there. So you want to lift up your hands and your legs at the same time. Now, whenever I'm lifting up my legs, I'm not just lifting up at the knee. I'm lifting the whole leg up in the air, and I'm keeping that leg straight. So, a good way to regress this, or make it a little easier, is going to be just to use the hands, and then also just to use the legs. So it'll end up looking like that. And from the side, again, going to be the same thing. It's just lifting up my hands, or if you want, this will help work your glutes and your low back a little bit more. Keep your upper body stationary, keep your arms down, and just lift your legs. sometimes it's a little difficult to progress this. Probably the best way that you can progress it is you just want to increase the amount of time that your hands are up in the air. So it could be, so instead of holding it up here for 2 or 3 seconds, you could hold it up in the air for 10 seconds, 12 seconds, something like that. Or you can also play with how you move your upper body. So a good thing you can do is you get up here, bring your hands down here to your sides, and you press your hands back up. Or you can keep your elbows straight, bring them all the way down here, bring them back up top. And that's going to be one of the pretty good ones you can do for your back. So now I want us to go over core a little bit. And right now we're just going to focus on the abdominals, so the front part of your core. So we're going to do a plank, and then we're going to do a crunch. So a plank, a lot of people have done them. So the best thing you can do, you want your elbows directly underneath your shoulders. That'll take a lot of the load. Your hands, you don't want them clasped like this. Keep them out here, make a fist, pound on the ground, throw a tantrum, whatever you want. And all you're going to do, plant your feet. I'll show you from the side here in a second. And get your butt up. And hold it there. You can hold it, start off. A good one to start off would be 15 seconds in the air. Rest for about 10 seconds. Get it back up, hold it for about 15 seconds again. Then you do 30 seconds, then a minute, then maybe even 2 minutes. Or as long as you want. Just keep on building up slowly. So now I'll show you from the side. Hey. Right here again. I need a better camera. I'm sorry, guys. You're gonna plant your feet, plant your elbows, butt up in the air. Notice how I'm not letting my butt sag down, and I'm not letting this happen. I keep my body level, squeezing those muscles, squeezing my glutes, squeezing my core. And I'm already shaking a little bit, so it can definitely be a fun little addition to your workout routine. Now, we're going to take a look at crunches. A lot of times people will do something similar. They'll do sit-ups. The only snag with sit-ups is that at a certain point, you then start to lose some of that tension on your abdominals, and you put some of it on your hip flexors. So, we're going to do just basic crunches. You can take your hands. I personally make a fist, place them on my chest and up against my chin. That helps me keep a neutral spine, especially in my neck. Or you can also grip right here. Just make sure you don't use your hands to pull your neck up. And all you're going to do here is you're just going to imagine there's a little line going straight from the front of your ribs right to your hips. And I want you to try to bring your ribs straight to your hips. I'm not going up super high, and I'm just barely getting my shoulders up off the ground. And notice how I'm having a small pause at the top and then coming back to rest. And I'm letting my head come all the way back to the ground. You don't just want to sit here and do this. It'll work a little bit, but not nearly as well as that slow and controlled movement. All right, guys. So those are just a few basic movements that you can do just with your body weight as resistance. And yeah, I hope to send you guys some more videos in the future. Let me know if there's any specific questions, and I look forward to seeing each and every one of you back in the gym after all this is done. But until then, stay fit, stay healthy, and above all, please stay safe, guys. Have a good one.